successfully defend the WWE Championship. What the hell? Oh my gosh, the last thing I expected to see. Come out here.
You got size. You got speed. You got athleticism. Sir, I am coming to challenge you. And that at the Royal Rumble.
Oh good, that's what we needed in 2021. More reminders of March 2020. Welcome to Jobbed Out, the wrestling editorial that reminds you that somebody really needs to tell Goldberg nobody's next. So tonight, on the first Monday Night Raw of 2021, the WWE tried to boost those ratings with a good old-fashioned Legends Night. Sprinkled throughout the show, we got plenty of stars from yesteryear, from Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter to Alicia Fox and Teddy Long, holla holla. Granted, there were some names that were advertised like Candice Michelle and Carlito who we didn't end up seeing on the show, but sometimes it is better to have too much than too little. Among the many cameos tonight came one name that was unexpected, former Universal Champion and WCW legend, 54 years Goldberg, who after the main event came to the ring, told Drew McIntyre he was being disrespectful to his elders, challenged him to a title match at the Royal Rumble, and then promptly shoved him on his ass. I don't quite know what the fascination is with Goldberg. I mean, yeah, I liked him in WCW. I was rooting for him in 03 until Triple H stomped them down. It was a huge surprise when he beat Brock in 2016, but then it just began to feel forced. He beat Kevin Owens in a quick match fans didn't want to see, in order to set him up to give Brock Lesnar his win back at the worst WrestleMania I've ever attended. He had an awful match with The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia, and then an awful match with Dolph Ziggler in Canada last year. And then early in 2020, he was used to derail the momentum of Bray Wyatt because the WWE figured Goldberg versus Reigns would be a bigger draw, only for Reigns to drop out and give us a less than powerful Mania moment for Braun. Now, it's not that seeing a legend like Goldberg work with new talents is that bad, it's just that it doesn't help anybody. It didn't help KO, Brock and Taker didn't need his help, Dolph's beyond helping. So what can Goldberg possibly do for Drew McIntyre, who's been the top guy on Raw for almost a full year now? The WWE isn't selling tickets to the Rumble, so it can't be for attendance figures. I don't think this could be for a ratings pop, and looking at Twitter and Facebook, just like when he was put up against The Fiend, people do not want to see Goldberg beat another current top guy. And I don't blame them, because it makes the current top guys look like chumps that you don't need to invest your time in. So with that in mind, would they do the right thing and have Goldberg lose to McIntyre? Yeah, there's a chance. It's a very real possibility that Goldberg is just a stopgap. I mean, the world title matches usually have a tendency to fall to the back seat when the Royal Rumble comes around. So you will see some people get a shot that otherwise couldn't sell out a show because the 30-man match is the real main event. That's how you get Brock Lesnar versus Bob Holly. The thing is, who's next for McIntyre then? Who are they building towards challenging Drew at WrestleMania for the WWE title? No one really has stood out on Raw except Keith Lee, who just lost, and maybe Sheamus or Braun Strowman. My worry here is that this whole thing is part of a certain other build that they've been working on. You see, last year we were supposed to get Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title. We didn't. But the two still took jabs at each other online after Roman returned to TV. Reigns called out Goldberg for the Saudi Arabia incident that stemmed from Goldberg headbutting a door too hard and giving himself a concussion. Goldberg then countered by saying he has unfinished business with Reigns.
Thank you guys and girls, as always. It's a privilege and a pleasure. And who's next? Roman's next.
I sincerely hope I'm wrong here, but if Goldberg were to beat McIntyre at the Rumble, we could very well be looking at champion versus champion at WrestleMania. Babyface Goldberg versus heel Roman Reigns to determine who the head of the entire company's table is. Now, as much as I don't want to see that, it makes sense, doesn't it? Personally, I've been pretty disheartened by the WWE lately. We finally have Reigns as the heel we've wanted him to be on SmackDown. We finally have fresh blood at the top of Raw. The last thing we need going into 2021 is more of the old stuff that fans were tuning out from before. That's all just my opinion though, and I could be way off base. Maybe people do want to see another Goldberg run. Maybe they do want to see a title versus title match. So, what do you think? Is Goldberg vs. McIntyre a one-off to give Drew some cred? Or is this just a setup for another Goldberg run towards Mania? And where does this theory leave the actual Rumble winner? Who can they challenge if the two top champs are going against each other? Let me know what you think in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more, because I want you to be a part of the conversation too. For now though, I better get my shoulders off the mat, so thank you for tuning in to Jobbed Out. I'll catch you next time.